G'day, g'day. Welcome to the Passive House Show. My name is Mick Laxton, and this is
Paul Keeley.
welcome. Well, we had an interesting week last week, didn't we? I mean, I wasn't there for it. I just saw the photos, but the famous comedian, actor, personality, celebrity Tom Green turned up to our work last week. What happened there? What was that all about?
Tom Green came to our yard. Yeah.
Does he live here? He lives in Ottawa, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives around the Ottawa area. Moved back from California a couple of years ago. I think he was out in California for 20 years. I mean, most Canadians would know of Tom Green, right? Very successful comedian. He told me he started Yuck Yucks doing his gig at Yuck Yucks when he was 16 years old.
That's crazy.
So, he really is a legendary comedian. All the stories you hear of Seinfeld starting and just going in doing whatever he can at a young age, and David Letterman and Tom Green saying Yuck Yucks, big comedy place here in Ottawa.
I drive past it all the time.
Yeah, he was there at 16 and made a real big name for himself at a young age and ended up taking his talent to
Hollywood.
Hollywood. So very interesting to meet him, and he's moved back and thinking about some projects we could possibly do together. So it's really cool.
What was he like?
Tom, really authentic, super nice guy. Very very interested in people. And he shows up at our yard. I think everyone's expecting him to be cracking jokes left and right. He's just a naturally entertaining, funny guy, but really just a great human being. I
Awesome.
just found that really good compassion for people in general. He's shaking hands, everyone at our yard, all the guys, and really looks for that personal connection. So it's very cool to see that.
That's awesome. You know what bothered me about that though? Not one of you bastards texted me.
We kind of never knew when he was gonna actually show up. I think that was part of it.
Gosh, I only live down the road from there too, so I could have zipped down.
He'll be back.
Let me know next time he comes in, because I'd love to meet the guy. Now, we've got this quote here by Aeschylus.
Yeah, we should.
We probably butchered that. I'm leaving that in. You know what? I'm leaving that in. Anyway, it's spelled Aeschylus. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, drop it in the comments.
Achilles.
Achilles. He had this quote: "Only primitives and barbarians lack knowledge of houses turned to face the winter sun."
Nothing would be here without the sun, right? It grows all of our food. It's responsible for all of our resources. It is the source of energy. What it comes down to in the past, generations, they needed it. They needed to come up with genius solutions to reap the benefits of the sun, ultimately providing comfortable living conditions. But for modern civilizations like we're in now, equally as important. Just done for different reasons. Optimal comfort is the result too, but we need to do it to get off of carbon, and create a prosperous world, create a sustainable world, and build your house in a way that uses that free energy. It doesn't get more simple. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get more from a conservation perspective. It just doesn't get more easy than that.
We're not saying that anybody that doesn't utilize the sun in your home with a south facing house, we're not saying you're stupid. He is. And
that's right.
But we agree with him.
I agree with him exactly. It's often we get you listen to the misconception all the time about southern facing windows and how bad that could possibly be for a house, letting in all of that sun, causing a house to overheat in the winter. In the northern hemisphere, we have to remember the sun is it's hitting our world at an angle. Okay. And that angle is very steep in the summer months. So very easily shaded with a very small roof overhang on you in your roof system. Alternatively, the sun is at a very low angle in the summer, and that's when it's able to easily penetrate the entire house.
Yeah.
That is strategic window placement. There's strategic window placement. Put the windows on the south. Only put enough to that's required to make the home perform passive. So there's a formula there, obviously, and minimize the windows everywhere else.
Yeah.
Eastern and western windows are the bad ones, not the south ones.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, talking about how you guys build your houses south facing, and it's like it's not just good for the house to keep your house warm. I'm from Australia, and one of the biggest things I've struggled with in Canada is the long, very, very cold winters and the very, very dark winters. Now, most people have a bout of SAD, seasonal affective disorder, during the wintertime. A lot of people get depressed. What's the big fix for that? Vitamin D supplements, sunlight. In the wintertime, in a passive house, it is going to help you to have a south-facing house because it allows all that sunlight into your home pretty much as soon as the sun comes up and the sun goes down. You want that in your home, not just to heat your home, but to heat your soul, to make you feel better, like to get that sunlight on your skin inside your house. The house I live in right now is a code-built home. We see the sun pouring into the window. We can see the sun, the actual sun coming in, and that lasts for maybe 40 minutes. It's better for your mental health even to have all that sunlight coming in through a south-facing home during the wintertime.
We talk a lot. We talk about southern facing windows and this strategic window placement, optimum comfort. It really is silly to ignore that free, comfortable energy from the sun with southern facing windows. Orient the home south, but it's important for me to throw in there if it's possible. If it's possible. Yeah. We do have to remember that for community reasons, subdivision reasons, urban, very urban environments with small lots, densely packed communities, facing a home that has exposure to southern sun on that one wall of the building sometimes is not possible. And it's important to remember this conversation is all about facing the home south where it's possible, because you get all of that free energy. Okay. And this is what makes a passive home work to the, epitome of energy savings and conservation. But if the house doesn't have the ability to collect that sun because you have a neighbor 12 feet away from your southern wall that's home is 25 to 30 feet tall, or if there's massive trees all over the place that are on other people's properties and that's shading the home entirely, or maybe you love a wilderness environment and that home is right in the middle of a coniferous forest where there's
Sasquatch country.
Where there's very little sun, right? And that is still 100% possible, doable, and still sustainable at the passive house level. Still a house that's going to conserve a ridiculous amount of energy, still a home that's going to be 90% more energy saving compared to any other home put in its place. It's still a type of home that's going to be able to use a air source heat pump for year-round comfort and be carbon free and be healthy and be passive. It all comes down to the air tightness again and the thermal bridge protection, stable draft-free environment, building your home with the thermos. The difference is in what we would recommend in homes in that situation is more of a strategic window placement is put, windows placed where there is exposure to wintertime sun. We're going to want at the right angle, put windows in those locations, but minimize the size of those windows everywhere else. Only basically put enough windows in the home that's going to give the owners, the occupants, the comfort that they need, bringing the outside environment in, because we do need to be connected to the outside world. And but from a energy conscious passive house perspective, maximize the size of those windows where they do have the accessibility to wintertime sun and minimize them everywhere else.
Amazing. In conclusion, use the sun. Don't be a fool.
What's that song? Here comes the sun.
That's awesome. Thanks for watching, folks.